in person. Enjoy the coffee, the food. For those of you on Zoom, welcome. Look forward to learning about North Carolina with you guys, and hopefully meeting you all in person, doing business with y'all. All right, back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, make sure just drop your contact info there, and then if you guys need it, scroll up. We'll make sure everybody on Zoom, I need you to do the same for me. So if there is anything that I can send you additionally, if you are struggling with, if you need this presentation later on, just drop your email in the chat, please. That way I can contact you later on future trainings, because this one's going to be the easy one, right? And then for all of my agents that, you're still thinking about licensing, but you're still hesitant, you need more information, or if you are licensed and you need some more guidance on the contracts, some law, you've got weird situations and questions, those are the things that we're going to be training on, down the road. So we will, more trainings ahead. That way I can contact you guys, and then whoever you need to share this information with, that somebody is like, hey, I'm thinking about North Carolina too. Bring them our way. Anybody can hop on, anybody can join. This is definitely an open training for everybody. So I just want to make sure that is clear. You don't really have to ask to bring anybody. Just come on. It's information. Dually licensed is cool. It's really cool to go through, but it's a process. So that's why we're here to help. So this training, let me share my screen. Thank you for everybody sharing your information. It's going to be quicker than normal, just because you do have your resources that has all of this information. That is where I got this information from, and also just from experience. I want you guys to take notes, make it all make sense for you. If you need to do it step by step, please do. If you need me to stop, slow down, ask the questions. I'll be able to pull up the chat and see that for you guys. But I want to get started. Hey, good morning. Go ahead and take that booklet and coffee and breakfast if you'd like. But we'll get rocking and rolling. So everything North Carolina, this one is your, can I move this? Trying to get this out of the way. Get out of here. There we go. So your steps to obtaining North Carolina real estate license. And for everybody that is not from the Keller Williams office joining us today, welcome and thank you for being here. Again, please leave your information and share, as much as you can. And if you guys have any additional questions, anything, just I'm always available. So let's rock and roll. Important websites and references for you guys when going through the process of obtaining your North Carolina real estate license. Throughout, after you have it, these are going to be your go-to sites for everything, for logins, for contact information. So screenshot this screen, pull up these websites, bookmark them on your web page, make your life easier ahead of time. So top one, North Carolina Real Estate Commission website, that's your bread and butter. That is your D4. So I'm going to be referencing a lot of Virginia terminology and our sites that we use compared to North Carolina. So that way it makes sense, right? So that's why when we're getting in the process, we're like, what is that compared to? Because I remember when I went through the process, I was like, is that compared to RAIN or D4? I can't remember. Okay. So NC Real Estate Commission website, that's the go-to for everything. That is going to provide you the real estate licensing in North Carolina booklet that we have here, and then I'll provide you guys some additional insight on those as well. But that is real estate licensing in North Carolina booklet. That is where all of this information has come from. So you guys are able to follow along if you have it pulled up on your browser, or if you're here in person, or if you need to obtain it yourself. It's really easy. You go to the ncrec.gov. Under the licensing tab, select application book, it pulls it up, you can download it. easy day. Or if you need the commission to mail it to you, they can mail it to you as well. So, everybody ready? So, easy day, new licensee information. So to obtain a North Carolina real estate license, there are 4 different options to choose from. And this is where it gets tricky and people start to like not understand. So that's what I'm doing today, is breaking down the different options for you, depending on your current status, right? So if you are not licensed at all in any state, if North Carolina will be your first state to be licensed in, that'll be one option. You know, and then we'll go through the rest if you're trying to be dual licensed, depending on the status of your current license, so on and so forth. So option 1, an applicant may qualify to take the North Carolina real estate license exam, okay, by successfully completing the pre-license course. So the commission approved 75-hour North Carolina broker pre-licensing course. This course is only provided by the commission certified education providers found on the commission website. Okay, this is for somebody who's not licensed at all. Okay, so starting out, that is 75 hours, and you can take, so the biggest question I'm getting right now for North Carolina, can I test online? Yes, North Carolina has now transferred from an only in-person testing facility to they offer in-person testing and online testing for national and state. So if you are required to take the national and state testing, you go to the commission site and look up the commission certified education providers that provide pre-licensing, post-licensing, all the above, but everything can be online. You don't have to travel anywhere anymore, because before you had to physically go to a site and sit and test. You don't have to do that anymore. Thanks, COVID. So that is the option 1 for anybody who is looking to get into North Carolina licensing that is not already licensed in another jurisdiction. Everybody good? Got any questions? Okay, option 2. An applicant may seek a waiver of the 75-hour North Carolina pre-licensing course based on completion of equivalent salesperson pre-licensing education. So most of us in here qualify for this, right? Mm-hmm. So this is not our option though. This is for somebody that has gone through the process for Virginia or another license or another jurisdiction, but isn't utilizing their license. You know, they could be on referral status or something of that nature, right? So this is for not us that want to be dual licensed here. Okay, if you have another status, if you're a broker here, or if you are strictly a referral agent, or if you are you know, you have your license but you're not actively using it, this would be the option for you. Okay, so the ones to qualify, you have to completed the pre-licensing education in the other state. You have to have that course have to be 75 hours of instruction, have been completed within 1 year prior to the North Carolina license application in order to apply. And then while the applicant was a resident of the other state, okay, you still have to live there. So there are all of these different qualifications, right, for all these different options. Again, all outlined in the booklet, if none of this is making sense, but also a part of option 2, those instructions must be parallel to the topics and timings described in the commission's pre-licensing course syllabus. And this is also found on the website. Okay, so if there's any question of, hey, I went through this before, does it match? The course syllabus will kind of go through that and outline if this is the option for you. So a course completion certification or transcripts are required documents of the pre-licensing education program that meets the requirements for the state. So option 3, an applicant may seek a waiver of the 75-hour North Carolina broker pre-licensing course based on completion of substantial real estate education other than pre-licensing course. So if you have your bachelor's or a higher degree in the field of real estate brokerage, real estate finance, real estate development, or a law degree conferred on the applicant from any college or university, you can be waived from the pre-licensing course. So good to know. If anybody has that, kudos to you. Option 4, this is mainly everybody on here. So I'm really diving into this 4th option because this is where all the questions come into play. These are all the different scenarios, you know, of your situation. So we'll dive in. Stop me if you guys have any questions at all on anything specific that you have come across that you know, need to say, hey, pause, I need extra clarification on anything, okay? So option 4, an applicant who holds a current real estate license in another state that is equivalent to North Carolina's provisional broker license, okay? So write down provisional broker and then write down full broker. This way we can understand the difference, because in North Carolina, you are not a sales agent, you're not a salesperson, you are a broker, all right? So big thing with option 4, your license in this other jurisdiction, your Virginia license has to be on active status within the previous 3 years in order to qualify for this option. So you have to submit the application to include your criminal background report, your certifications of licensure, which you obtain from DPOR. So when you see that portion, you're like, what does that mean? They're asking for your certs from DPOR. You go on DPOR, you go into forms, you find the certificate of licensure for yourself. I think you pay about $30, and that is something that you upload to the commission website, okay? Because once you start your application process, it is online, it is on the commission website. So your application, your criminal background, and your criminal background is the part that's going to be pricey depending on where you've lived. So if you've only lived in Virginia, it should be short and sweet, cheap, around $50. But if they have to do a background check the past 7 years of where you've resided. Okay, so I think I paid like $130. So whatever. It is pretty pricey up front, as any license is, but it's worth it. So, and then you pay, you know, your application fee, and that's $100. So 2, pass the state portion of the license exam. Okay, you have to do the state now. That is not waived anymore. During COVID, it was waived. So national and state was waived because they wanted you to do in person, and then they didn't have the option to do it online. So let's just say I've done a lot of extra digging because I did not take that state, you know, and that's okay, but it's still, the state will very much so outline the differences between VA and North Carolina. So it is very important to take that exam. So after you pass the exam, you will be issued your provisional broker's license, okay, and be subject to the post-licensing education requirement. That's one option of option 4. Or you submit your application, background check, certs, blah, 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 and then you're issued your provisional broker license to be subject to the post-licensing education requirement. And you're like, oh, which one? Why would I not do? You know, why would I take the state if I didn't have to? Well, provisional brokers who applied for a North Carolina license based on licensure in Virginia and who opted not to take the state section of the licensure exam are not eligible for any waivers of post-licensing education. So it's basically saying you're going to be stuck as a provisional broker unless you test. And here's the kicker. Being a provisional broker, you can only be a provisional broker for 18 months. So once you pass and you are issued your provisional broker license, you have 18 months to do your post license, okay? And then if you don't, it's going to inactive and you got to do it all over. You got to pay renewal fees and reinstatement. So it's saying, take the test, do the post licensing, and be a full broker, okay? It gets sticky in here. You know, you can try to waive the state exam, but they're going to ask for all of these documentations and the whys and then the confusion. Just take it, you know. And again, if you have any questions on the difference, and the WISE commission website is great, again, and you can actually get a hold of them. So you can email them, call them and say, hey, this is my situation. If your situation is a little sticky, if you're unsure, absolutely call the commission, the North Carolina Real Estate Commission team. They are the ones that review your application once you submit it. And in the booklet, if you've downloaded it, on page 7, is your application process. So once you review the options, right, you kind of figure out where you are. It breaks down the application process, the background check, literally instructions for selected application items. So it helps you throughout to fill out the application, to fill out your background, to make sure you do not miss a step. So again, if you've downloaded it at home and if you're here in person, literally pages 7 through 31 outlines application, background, how to test, where to test, what to test on. I mean, it walks you through everything. If you're going to do it in person, if you're going to do it online, it's such a great tool to have, to utilize, to highlight. That's why I suggest printing it out. You know, keep it with you. If you have any question at all, you know, whoever you get licensed with, if it's Keller Williams, if it is anybody else that you are with right now, you have a BIC, you have a broker in charge, and they can guide you on this as well. Okay. Sorry, I got a little off track, but that is super important because that is a lot of the questions that we have, right? How do I apply? How do I do this? So continuing on option 4, an applicant who holds a current real estate license in another state that is equivalent to a North Carolina's full broker license and that has been on active status within the previous 3 years may either submit an application, background check, licensure, application fee, pass the state portion of the license exam, and be issued a full broker license. So being equivalent to a North Carolina full broker license in Virginia is holding a broker's license in Virginia. Okay, so we all who are just sales agents here it's equivalent to the provisional broker. And that's why we must take our post-licensing education. Post-licensing education is 90 hours. What? It's all I did it in a couple weeks. So it's all doable, you know, but those are the steps that have to be. You have to be a full broker to practice real estate activities on your own in North Carolina. And that's what I'm going to break down here in a second. So if anybody out there is like, I just want to be a provisional broker, see how it is, see if I like it, that's an option. So that's why they give you 18 months to have that status and then take your post-licensing if you want to move forward. Because as a provisional broker, you cannot practice real estate by yourself. Your BIC, your Thomasina, your BIC has to be with you. You have to be supervised doing anything real estate. You can buy, sell, anything, help anybody with real estate. Your BIC has to be there though. And I'm gonna tell you right now, no BIC will want to be there with you. It's just not a thing. So highly, highly, highly advise everybody to go through the full process. Be a full broker. If you're gonna do it, go for it. You know, but that provisional period is for you to see, do I like this? Is this for me? Does this fit my lifestyle? You know, I live in Chesapeake, so it was a no-brainer for me with getting clients, you know, but if you are further away, you know, maybe it's not, maybe just refer it out, but it's always good to have the knowledge, always good to have that. So.
Sarah, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So, and this is Shelley, by the with the provisional license part, and you said it basically lasts for 18 months. You can use that 18 months to still complete your post licensing and then become a full broker, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's what that 18 months means. And I'm sorry if I wasn't clear. You have 18 months to do your post licensing education courses to become a full broker.
And still omit the state portion of the exam.
Yes, I believe
okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as you qualify, as long as there are credentials in place that say, hey, she's exempt from the state exam, which again, the booklet really goes over in detail with that. I wanted to get a little bit more clarification from the commission myself on what exactly waives someone from the state test, because the booklet doesn't really break it down enough. So again, I would investigate that a little bit more if it is confusing, if you don't want to test. A lot of people opted out before not wanting to test because it had to be in person. So now they are giving everybody the option to test in person or online. So I will find out more information on that, just because again, it is a little sticky, it is a little tricky, because you could, you know, qualify or not qualify. So I'll get more information for you on that. So.
Thank you.
So application process, you're so welcome. If you guys have the booklet pulled up, page 7, application process breaks it down. Details and procedures of the license exam are outlined in the booklet. So literally 7, flipping to 21. I mean, it tells you the PSI, what to expect, taking your exam at the site, taking your exam online. You know, wonderful, wonderful tool to help guide you guys throughout that process. So that process really won't take you that long. So it looks like it on paper, you know, but it'll break down, you know, hey, it's, for example, I'm on page 29 in your exam time, state section. You have 1.5 hours to take the state. You know, there's those questions that you guys have, you know, throughout the process is in the booklet. So like if you need to forfeit some fees because you got a situation, they've outlined that too. So I mean, it's very, very detailed, but I'm flipping to page 31 before I get there. So after an applicant has satisfied the qualification requirements, passed the license exam if required, and satisfied the commission that the applicant is a good character, hence your background check. So you have to pass all of these items before you will have the opportunity to do your post licensing, right? So once your application is accepted, your background is accepted, you've passed your pre-licensing, or you've satisfied for those requirements, you will be issued a license certificate and have access to their digital pocket cards immediately. So in North Carolina, you have to have this handy dandy, let me see if I have it with me, your pocket license. You have to have it on you at all times. And you know, I've printed mine, I've laminated mine, you know, just like our Keller Williams office does for our Virginia license. But that way, it's just in case, you know, you're protected. So I'll show you guys what that looks like. Just so you can kind of see, because once you get into the process, they are sending you so much, okay? This is what your license certificate looks like. It's real fancy, it makes you super happy once you pass it, trust me. Okay. But you will also in the mail receive a real estate privilege license. That is what you will get in the mail from the Department of Revenue from North Carolina. Okay. I want to see if I can show you guys this. I'm gonna stop sharing my page real quick because this is pretty important throughout the process. I don't know how to do this. Y'all help me. How do I stop sharing?
See the Zoom link at the bottom.
No. Glad you're here. Wait, why is it doing this? I know, don't do that. That's it. Sorry, y'all. No? Didn't show?
Yeah.
I don't know. There we go. We're gonna get through this, y'all. Where did all my Zoom stuff go? Yeah, they're still there. Stop it. I don't know where all my stuff went. That's fun. You guys still there?
We're still here.
Like you're waiting on me, like, come get it together, girl. Look, see. I swear I'm better at real estate than this. Where did it go? How weird. Well, I can't see y'all. Can you guys see me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. All right, so once you get your privilege license, okay, your provisional broker, you will get this guy in the mail. And this tells everybody provisional broker, okay, provisional license. But this means I cannot practice real estate by myself. I can practice it, but I have to have my broker in charge with me. And that's really the biggest confusion of everything, right? So I'm licensed, but I have to have my BIC with me, okay? So once you get that, still super exciting. But once you get that, you're not done, right? If you want to be all in it 100%, now you sign up for post licensing, okay? Oh, and here is the certificate again. Very nice paper. Okay.
So Kara, question real quick. Does that mean that your broker in charge has to be with you, like even on showings?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's definitely an
You-
incentive to get a full-blown broker.
Yes. Yeah, so you can, so essentially the provisional allows you to talk about real estate, right? But if you are doing any real estate activities, your broker has to be with you. So, and that's just because North Carolina, again, is a broker state. So you're not essentially a full broker just yet. So you've only done 75 hours. You haven't done the additional 90. Okay. So activation. So when you get this guy in the mail, you're still inactive. Okay. You are an inactive provisional broker. Next step, right after you get this, is to get with your BIC and make it active. Okay. So upon issue of your provisional broker's license, the status will be inactive. Before the provisional broker can begin work in the real estate business, the provisional broker and a BIC must file a license activation / affiliation form with the commission office, which can be found on the commission's website. So, yep, there are so many steps, I'm telling you, but it's to ensure one, you're active in both states, right? That's a big thing in Virginia anyway, you know, if to take all your education courses and making sure you're paying your fees and everything, it's the same, you know, it's just a little bit of couple of additional steps. So once you guys file this together, your license will be placed on active status. Cool, we're active, we're ready to roll. We can talk about real estate now. We can practice real estate with our broker in charge. A provisional broker must satisfy the post-licensing education requirements in order to terminate the provisional status of the broker license. So that's where, once you finish that, it goes away. You do not have to do anything. So that's one thing, any broker license. So even when you're full broker, must be on active status at all times when you are performing real estate, obviously. We all know that, but to remain on active status, a licensee must satisfy in a timely manner the payment of the annual license renewal fee. Write this down. June 30th is when your license renewal is due. Hold on, let me get to that page for you guys. Just remember June 30th. I put it in here somewhere. It's ridiculous. May 15th, so the window opens to pay your renewal fee of $45. It opens up May 15th and closes June 30th. of every single calendar year. So if you use a calendar, put it in there. Okay. This is for, again, everybody. And if you're following in the booklet, this is on page 32. Okay. You renew your license through the commission's website. Okay. Easy payment of $45. You will also get a notice at home, you know, saying, hey, it's coming up. If you don't, you still get charged. You can't fight it. Hey, I didn't know. Yes, you did. May 15th through June 30th every year. Okay. Post licensing. Again, this really doesn't have a date. Obviously, you have 18 months to do this, guy. And again, all of your providers that, you know, what school do I take? Go to the commission's website and find the eligible providers. They've got about, last time I looked, 27 different schools to choose from. And then for post licensing and then for pre-licensing, they have about 40. So they've definitely grown since a couple years ago, because before then they were very strict, very one-minded kind of state of, no, it's only in person, it's only this. So take advantage of the online courses. You know, whoever you talk to, they probably went to a different school, just like in Virginia, but these schools are pretty good. Like I had a really good instructor. I had a really good experience at Skyline. So if you guys want information about who was my instructor, who did I go through, just call me or email me and I'll send you all that info. And then, because once you go through your post licensing, that's everybody at this point who wants to be a full broker has to do this. So 90 classroom hours of post licensing education. You have 301, 302, and 303. Those are the courses that you have to fulfill. They are 30 hours each. So the breakdown is broker relationships and responsibilities, contracts and closings, and license law, commission rules, and legal concepts. Okay. Again, when you choose a provider, just to make it fun and so you can understand, especially for us, the difference between the states, or the state and the Commonwealth, excuse me. Get a good instructor, look at their reviews, Google stalk them, or, you know, Facebook stalk them or whatever. It does make a difference. You know, if you ask agent to agent, some people had a hell of an experience and others didn't. So, so I can kind of recommend a good instructor. Hopefully he's still there. So moving on, upon completion of all 3 post licensing courses, the provisional status of the broker license will automatically be terminated by the commission. Okay. You're now a full broker. You can now practice real estate in North Carolina. Okay. That post licensing is very, very important. I know in my experience, my instructor was very timely in getting our certificates to us that proved that we did the course. So it's just like Virginia, all the schools communicate, right? So you don't have to send the commission anything to prove that, unless they ask, hey, I passed this one, okay? You will get emails and stuff, you will get provided that, but you don't physically have to do that. That is what the school does. So if your provisional broker fails to timely complete the post-licensing program, 18 months, the license will be placed on inactive until the licensee remedies the education deficiency. So do it when you can, you know, or if you've got a limited time, or if you want to give it a 6-month run, do it, but then you've got a year to complete everything. So I just want to clarify, if anybody is confused, anybody is brand new, for the post-licensing and continuing education. So post-licensing education is a one-time requirement for provisional brokers wishing active license status eligibility that must be completed within the prescribed period of time after initial licensure. Okay. Continuing education, we all do it every year or every other year. That's the reoccurring annual requirement. North Carolina isn't so much. I believe Virginia, we do 16 hours. North Carolina does 8. Okay. The best part about this, if you are a non-resident for North Carolina, you do not have to double dip What I mean is, if you have satisfied your Virginia continued education courses, those get applied to your North Carolina. Okay, so, but just know that that is annually, all right? But if you just got your license this year, okay, and I want to reiterate this due date because it's pretty important. So everything, your renewal fee due by June 30th, right? Say you get licensed in May, say you get licensed in June, you still have to repay that renewal fee. But you do not have to pay a continued education. You do not have to do your continued education that year. Your continued education kicks in your second year. Okay, so don't think you have to do post-licensing and continued education all at once. You get a little bit of a break there. Obviously, you're doing 90 hours of post-licensing for your first year. But once June of 2023 comes, your continuing education needs to be done. Okay, June 10th is the date for continuing education every year after your second year. Okay, so whatever you need to do to remind yourself in your calendar starting, January, whatever, but it's a little tricky because, right, Virginia is every other year. So just fulfill your continued education in Virginia and it covers your North Carolina. Always double check though. But if you are only licensed in North Carolina, June 10th is your due date for your continued education to be submitted to the commission. Okay. Everybody following? Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. If something does not make sense, please let me know. Because once you get into it and you're like, oh my God, what do I gotta do now? It's, we all went through that. So once you have completed all these steps, contact the local MLS you would like to join to get registered for access, okay? Just like here, we go to RAIN. The MLS that is most local, the one that I utilize is Albemarle MLS. So that is your Northeastern North Carolina MLS. I want to clarify that does not include Outer Banks. Outer Banks is a whole nother beast and y'all can contact Gail Driver for that. She's the bomb.com when it comes to Outer Banks. Any questions on, properties out there, MLS access. I'll also get with her though, if you guys need that information, because, some of you want that. I just choose not to. I drive from Williamsburg to Moyock, in one day. So I stick with Albemarle. And I'll go back to the first slide for the websites. Again, it is the Navica website. Super easy to set up. So once you're licensed, you call Albemarle. I believe her name is Colleen, starts with a C. I'm gonna look it up. She handled everything. You email her, say, hey, new license here, and then they'll get you set up with your secondary membership. So with them. So you will not be a primary member with Navica and Albemarle MLS. You'll be the secondary, which is really good for us. So, but yeah, we'll make sure you have the right contact there, or everything is online. It's very easy to look it up yourself and get all the proper information, but get you set up in an MLS, because a lot of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing from a lot of my colleagues are, hey, I got my license, now what? So make sure you join an MLS. They do have dues as well. Not all MLS systems are created equally. And I say that because we are spoiled with RAIN, and that's included in our $245 quarterly fee. Access to Instinet, access to Matrix, access to tax. Everything is included in that. And it's a very simple process. North Carolina gives you the option if you want that access or not. So if you want access to zip forms is equal to Instinet. Okay. Navica is equal to Rain, to Matrix. All right, so as far as your search engine for yourself, looking up clients, adding them, putting them on auto emails, doing CMAs, all of that, that's the Albemarle MLS system. If you want to say, okay, cool, now I want to write an offer on this house per this from Navica, you have to pay for additional services with zip forms, okay? Your office and or your firm may cover that for you with their NC Realtors login information. I know that here at Keller Williams, we cover that. We pay North Carolina Realtors to give us access to all the forms, and we upload it into Brokerman. So if you're at our office, Brokerman has all of North Carolina forms that you need for an offer, for everything throughout there. But if you need more, contact the MLS and see what's up and see how you can just make your life easier, when you're writing an offer. So get with your BIC or your office administrator. I will say Thomasina and Gail and Carla here at our office at Keller Williams has been amazing. At first we all were getting our license all at the same time, and we were like, what do we do now? What's the next step? And we all helped each other tremendously. And, it made it so easy. So if you need that kind of support, let us know, because there is additional paperwork. There is additional stuff that may come up that, you're like, well, Kara didn't tell me that, or that didn't happen, because it's ever changing, right? We're in real estate. So this is also included in the booklet. I just wanted to include this if you are a charts person, or if you wanted to hang this up somewhere in your office while you're going through the motions to say, okay, what's my next step? This is kind of just, getting your license at a glance too. Okay. Who has the questions? Again, can you guys see me? Because my tab to get to Zoom is, I don't know where it is.
We can still see you.
Awesome. So you've seen all my lovely facial expressions. Love it. Okay. Who's got any questions? Is this more clear for everybody on what you got to do and how you got to do it? And do you guys has everybody gone onto the commission site? Because they also have a YouTube video that's about 4 minutes long that just explains everything that I did. That's also very fast, and I know how we all work, right? We need everything broken down. We need to be able to write it down, but I wanted to share this with you guys, kind of give you the visuals of what to expect. But on the commission site, there is a quick YouTube video that says 4 steps, 4 easy steps. No, we know nothing is easy. So I wanted to break it down for you guys though, just to, again, give you that visual. And this is this is my expired one. Don't judge me. I have my new one. Everything is digital. You won't get this in the mail. So once you become licensed, you get this little blue digital pocket card. And this is what they expect you to have on you at all times. But very important, obviously, your license number, your expiration, and your type. So your first one is going to say PB, provisional broker. Okay. So that's that. Who's got something for me?
This is Shelley. It might not necessarily be specific to North Carolina, but what is the significance of North Carolina not having salespersons and them having like everyone as brokers?
So they like everybody really to be on the same educational level there. That's what I've gotten from them is really, a salesperson in Virginia, we don't have to have the responsibilities or requirements or the knowledge that a broker does here in Virginia, right? North Carolina doesn't believe in that. They want everybody to be on the same playing field, give everybody the same, advantage, and especially to their clients and who they're serving. So that's really the difference of the why of no salesperson, none of that. So, and I get it. I really, it's like, God, we have to test so much, but you know what? It's really, really important information. And it really breaks down the difference of each state, you know, just for an example, and you'll hear this in your post licensing, is as a listing agent in North Carolina, you must measure the square footage of the home. You cannot rely, you shouldn't rely, do they still do it? Yes. But they highly, highly advise that you measure the square foot of the house yourself. You know, why? We all know when we see, you know, a listing that's like, oh, it's 2,700 square feet. This house is not 27 square feet, you know, and also for additional dwellings that have been added on, you know, and everything like that. So it's just, it's truly representing your client to the fullest. And, you know, I think that's why they do just go full broker, understand everything. And so it's to cover yourself too. It's that. Also, side note, you will see once you get into it, and I just want to kind of throw that out there just for everybody out there, because it is important. What do we make as far as commission there, right? There isn't a standard for any state, right? We kind of go with the average, kind of go with what is the now, okay? 3%, right? For in Virginia, listing side, buying side. Your standard in North Carolina is 3.5% for the listing agent, 2.5% for the buyer's agent. Okay. A lot of the buying, if you haven't listed a home in North Carolina, you're kind of wondering like, what in the heck? As a listing agent in North Carolina, you have a lot of responsibility as far as so North Carolina still is a buyer's due diligence state, but they give the seller gives the buyer a 4-page, information sheet on the house. You sit down with your seller and you say, what's the year of the HVAC? And you click and you check it and the seller signs off on it. Okay. It's not like a look it up yourself kind of situation. So you do a lot of work in North Carolina as a listing agent. So if you're one of those agents that needs that 3% for the buyer side, there is the buyer broker. There is a North Carolina buyer broker agreement in there, and it says you fill in, right, the 3% or the 2.5% or 4%, whatever you need as far as commissions, but you have the opportunity to fill it in there and work it out with your client, right? So if they are sending you, if the selling side is only giving you 2.5% and you need that 3%, you work it out with your client, same situation as in Virginia. So that's just a side note. So, because I know a lot of people that have gotten licensed, they didn't realize that going in. And they're like, well, I'm fighting for that other half or that 0.5. I'm like, you do you, boo-boo, but I'm going to service my client, like I know, and that's just me. That's my prerogative. So thank you for answering, Miranda. Holly is also a licensed North Carolina agent here at our Keller Williams office. I'm going through all the questionnaire. So Holly said Vic does not have to attend showings. So reviewing everything, right? That's what they want to have happen. Does it happen? No. They want you to go out and practice real estate on your own, but it is a supervised broker license. Okay. So yeah, go practice it. But if you're not comfortable, have your BIC go with you or another North Carolina agent, right? So thank you for that, for clarification, Holly. But yes, your BIC, it's just so our mentorship program here at Keller Williams, right? Same thing, same kind of situation, review of paperwork, review of documents, it's covering your donkey. That's what my instructor said for North Carolina, always cover your donkey. So I kind of live by that, again, because the documents and paperwork are different, and very much more detailed. So it's best to just get your license after June. Yeah, Shelly, it pretty much is. So Carrie, where do you go to get the post-license courses? The commission website. I'll put those website up again. Thank you all for your email addresses. Did everybody get Carly's email address? It is throughout this chat. Carly, can you drop it in one more time? Okay, good. Just so
thing.
everybody has it. And my information is here on the screen. Kara Sells VA. I know I need to update that for North Carolina. And then if I post a lot of material too, as far as, you know, assisting North Carolina clients and agents. So whatever you guys need for any state, you know, contact me. It's very easy. But let me go back to the first page. Got all the websites for you guys, because those are, again, very important. Very, very, very important to have for all your references, just to make your life easier. So our office, our broker, Cindy, is, you know, if you're not a realtor in Virginia, if you are a real estate agent, you must become a realtor for North Carolina. That is another step. It's a little different. So you have to get with the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, become a realtor, pay your dues. NC Realtors is equivalent, okay? I don't think I had to pay anything extra, but now you're registered in that, you know, so when you go and access, if you choose that route to access zip forms, which again is equivalent to Instanet, they will ask you for your NC login or your NAR login. So they really all communicate, they intertwine, you know, but if you see that there is a communication issue with those websites, let's say, hey, I know I'm an NC realtor, why isn't it, you know, giving me a discount for my, you know, zip forms? Let them know, contact them and just make sure, because again, we're all trying to save some money here. But at our office, again, Cindy, you know, we pay to have access to those zip forms already. So if you don't need them, don't pay the extra. I just do it because of how busy, you know, and because throughout the year, and I want you guys' feedback. If you guys want this training to be a little bit more than once a month, let me know. Because, you know, it just depends on where you're at in your status of getting your license, or if you already have your license and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, just get with me. We can review contracts and licensure and, you know, questions. Carrie, who's on here, she's with Iron Valley. She's asked me a couple questions, you know, and I hope I've been helpful, you know, but it's just kind of, it's another license that you dive into and you figure it out, you know, but we're all a team. And that's exactly why I'm doing these trainings for you guys. Cause you know, we have a huge perk. We live on the edge, you know, of a state border. So why not be dual licensed, you know, but to be fully equipped, you know, with the knowledge that we need, because they are so different. I'm here to help with accessing all that jazz. Okay. And you know, going through the experiences, Holly and myself are both North Carolina agents, you know, and we kind of feed off of each other too, like, hey, have you experienced this before, you know? But we've got our broker in charge, who is Thomasina. We've got Gail Driver, who is licensed and has access to Outer Banks MLS. So if you need information on her or from her on that access, let me know. We've got Carla, who is also licensed in North Carolina. We have Lucy, our compliance broker, who is also licensed in North Carolina. So our whole team and our whole office has gone through these licensure, you know, steps and education steps to ensure that we are providing any new agent who is coming on to the North Carolina side the most knowledge and support you guys can really think of. So I know I've probably, you know, there's more info out there that I can put out there, and I promise you that I'm going to do my best to do that for whatever you guys need. If something comes up, let me know. Let me check the chat one more time. Carrie, give me all the questions, girl. I love it. So yeah, again, save Carly's information. Carly is my education guru on the lender side. You know, you always need to make sure that you guys partner with somebody here in Virginia, you need to partner with somebody in North Carolina as well, because not all lenders are created equal, their company maybe, oh yeah, we can do North Carolina, but they have to be able to, okay? So just make sure that that lender, like if you're getting your client in contact with that lender, that lender is licensed in North Carolina. Okay, a lot are, but just make sure. Any other questions? Anything that you guys kind of want me to go in more depth on? Put my information up here one more time. Any other slide that you want to see again? Also, these slides will be available. I will email them to you guys if you have provided me with your email. If you guys need me to send you the booklet, the YouTube video, the quick one to save it from the commission site, but the commission site is pretty easy to navigate. It's just all foreign. I remember when I first got into it, I was like, this MLS looks like it's from the 1980s, like, because we're so spoiled with rain. So just keep that in mind. Again, everything is different. Where can I find the breakdown of fees? That is something that it's kind of in the booklet, Miranda. What you pay up front and how much it is. So each each post-license and pre-licensing provider has different costs. So do a little bit of research with that. I think I paid for Skyline, I think I paid around 500, could be off a little bit, but you pay per course. So, you pay 301, 302, 303 separately, or they offer you, I just remember my emails blown up of, of, hey, here's the discount before this date, or whatever. So keep an eye out on those. Search the commission website for the providers that provide those, and to see what best fits your needs. If you need in person or if you need online, the prices will vary, but application fee, I believe, is 100. Your background fee is going to differ because I don't know your background, know where you be living, but you do have to pay for all of that, and then to take the test. So again, all of that is outlined in the booklet. If you cannot find it, let me know, and I will do my best to get the info for you. What else you guys got? I hope you guys took good notes. Again, I'll email this presentation to you so you have a reference. If you guys know of anybody that's thinking, you're welcome. If you guys know of anybody that's thinking of getting licensed in Virginia or North Carolina, send them this. It's different when you hear it in person, someone talking about it than just reading it online and you're like, what does this say? So I've been there, kind of have that still with this, if you need to take the state test or not. I think it honestly, Shelley, I think it really just breaks down to your qualification on your current license, if you can even be waived from the state test at all. But again, I'm gonna get the English version for you and let you know. So, but before, you're welcome. Again, like I said, before Holly and I, during COVID, it was waived. The state test was waived because they only did it in person. So now they've gotten their act together and brought it back, because it is an important piece of getting your license. And if you were like Holly and myself and were lucky enough to not take the state test, go back and read your manual, because you do need to get your North Carolina, when you do your post-licensing, you do have a North Carolina manual. It's your book. It's about this big, or it's for, I believe that's $25. Again, all this on the commission website. Or you can get an online digital version for $25. That's what I have. And, just continue to educate yourself. If you are waived from the state exam, read that manual, go through the contracts constantly, read, the laws and everything. So, and the good thing that I've noticed that Albemarle uses the NC Realtor forms. So, how Rain has Rain forms, Albemarle does not have Albemarle forms. So it's a statewide educational program that makes sense. So once you go into it, you're like, hey, I've seen that form before. I've read this form before. I know what I'm doing, or think I do, you know, we're going to act like it. So that is a good thing as well. And I do want to go over for you guys, if you have your North Carolina license and you have let it expire. I did not touch on that. To maintain a current license, brokers must renew their license annually, right? May 15th to June 30th. The license of a broker who fails to renew during the period will expire. That broker must cease all brokerage activities immediately. Okay. You let that thing expire. I please don't do that, but you can't practice anymore. So pay the $4 to $5, get it done and over with. To reinstate a license expired for less than 6 months, Kate, and you're like, oh my God, you know, I forgot about it. Go to the commission's homepage, click reinstate your license, enter your license number and PIN that you've set up through them, answer the required questions, and pay the $90 reinstatement fee. And then also to regain active status, a license activation affiliation form must also be submitted. Okay, so that's less than 6 months. So not as painful, right? If you have let your license expire for more than 6 months, but not more than 2 years, so you're in the 6 month to 2 year range, successfully complete one 30-hour post-licensing course. The course must be completed within 6 months prior to submitting reinstatement application. Okay, and I'm reading an article on how to reinstate my license. Guess where I got this from? Commission's website. Okay, so any question that you could possibly think of, just type it in the search bar. Okay, so very, very, very good tool if I haven't reiterated that enough. But what's also a really good tool is your BIC, your broker in charge. They test more than we do for a reason, you know, and that's goals for everybody, right? If you want to be a broker in charge, it's equal to broker in Virginia. Okay. But utilize your resources, guys. If you've got any immediate questions as far as contracts are concerned, I'm always here. The next class will cover, we will start to go over some contracts, start to go over, you know, reviewing them, seeing them in person if you've never seen them before. But from this class, do some homework, you know, do some searching on the website one evening, you know, and you know, we'll make sure that you guys are fully informed. So you're welcome, Holly. Carly, if you provided an email here in the chat, she will be sending an email out to everyone with her contact info, a little bit more about herself, her team, and guaranteed rate. So thank you again, Carly. Thank you everybody for hopping on. I won't keep you anymore. I don't even know what time it is. 11:10. So we went over, but this presentation will go out. This video will be available on our YouTube channel here in the next couple of days. So you guys take care. I will.
Wonderful class, ma'am. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Adam. We'll see you guys later. Thank you all for joining us that are not from Keller Williams. You know, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kara.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kara.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Was that helpful? I mean,
Yes.
it's just so many steps. It's crazy. So
No, I should have did it